More and more authors are out savaging the romantasy genre out there. If you don't know what romantasy is, just go to any bookstore, if you still have bookstores in your town. They're not around very much. And then pop into the fantasy section. The fantasy section, or the YA section, is just filled with this weird, like, women banging monsters sort of thing. It's a very bizarre thing. And it's creepy, and it's very highly pornographic fiction. The main authors who are the biggest in these genres are named Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, and it's just deranging the minds of women who are reading these books, and they're making tons of money on it. They are actually selling, but of course you can see that the fantasy genre doesn't really have much stock that's actually real fantasy fiction anymore. It's all this kind of weird smut and weird identity politics going on. So this novelist here went onto YouTube the other day and actually just knocked this really, really hard. And of course, author Brian Neimire also wrote a blog about this today. We've been covering it for a while because it's about the New York publishing agenda to just end any sort of sensible fiction. They always complain, why aren't men reading? Are men not reading? We even covered the New York Times the other day. If you go watch that video on Maureen Dowd, being like, it's sexy that men read my romance books. And it's like, what the heck is going on here? There's a big psyop going on from this entire media establishment, and it's all just stalking stuff that is not for normal people. It's really true. And so the only way you can get things is from independent authors, my friends, and that's why we're here. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I am a fantasy and science fiction author myself. This is the beginning of my series. It's called The Adventures of Baron von Monocle. For Steam & Country starts off a 6-book series about airship adventures, questing, fighting monsters, defending one's country. It's got patriotism. It's got a noble king. It's got everything that is good about the world, and I'm trying to put this into a fantasy world to kind of like just change the culture, right? All you get these days is this romantasy stuff, or you get this, or like this grimdark, like angry Game of Thrones copy pasta. I'm trying to change like the whole deal and actually give an optimistic outlook and write things a little bit different. If that appeals to you, please check this out, guys. And if you like my thoughts on writing and like what I do on the YouTube channel here, this is a great way to support. Like I said, I've got a 6-book series on Amazon. You can grab the whole thing today, ebook. It's also available on audiobook to make it easy for you. And a lot of people read on audio. Believe it or not, my sales are about 50% audiobook at this juncture. And I appreciate everybody who reads, everybody who listens. You guys are amazing. Thanks for being here, and thanks for taking a chance on an author. And I got a lot of cool stuff to come, too. My stuff I'm working on right now, I'm editing very, very profusely because I want to just put out the best book possible. It's going to be amazing later this year, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys. All right. So novelist Hilary Lane decried much of what she describes as so-called romance fictions and current women's literature as pornography. And that's exactly what it is. In a video upload, she said, the first thing we need to establish that this so-called romance fiction and most, if not all, of the current women's fiction literature is not women's fiction literature. It's porn. She went to declare it's the normalization of explicit adult entertainment. And that's already happened for a long time ago. We used to make fun of this stuff on the internet, by the way. Like in the early internet days, if you were around for this, let me know, because there was a book that came out a long time ago. It was called Taken by the Terror. There it is. Okay. Taken by the Pterodactyl. Yes, 2014. I remember when this dropped and everybody laughed at this on the internet. This was like going viral as a meme. You can see it didn't even sell that well at the time. This person was just ahead of her time, I guess. But that's it. Like this was a joke for a while, and people were like, one pterodactyl swoops and picks her up, takes her into his nest. She expects to be eaten when he starts to peck her clothes away. Oh my gosh, it's just gross. And this became like a genre. Oh my gosh, look at this. Like Mounted by the Griffin, and like then Big Bad Brutes doing the Dragon anthology. I mean, this is disgusting stuff. And this is exactly what's being pushed in mainstream bookstores now. Like I said, this used to be a joke that everybody would make fun of, and now it's just something that is just normalized. It's very, very crazy. It's very, very creepy, and it's destroying our society, to be honest. It's very, very weird. So that's it. It's the normalization of explicit adult entertainment. A 4-letter word starting with P has taken over the literary world. Barnes & Noble and every other major independent bookseller, especially those new romance bookshops who have just now become another time of adult entertainment store. And, of course, named a bunch of people, Rebecca Yarros and Sarah J. Maas, like I did earlier in the video as well. A lot of names to look out for here. Allie Hazelwood, it's just gross stuff. So Lane is far from the first to identify this. Pop Culture Crisis actually talked about it, saying it's a scourge of humanity, and women who are reading these so-called romance novels are a stain on the population. Truly, there's reading some of the most degenerate, disgusting things I've ever come across in my life. That's exactly what it is. Now, Brian Neimire also talked about this, Romantasy and the Lie of Libertine Freedom. And so he goes on and talks about this same article here, and says that this YouTuber dismantles the illusion that pornography addiction is a problem exclusive to men. And that's something that has been something that's been talked about for a long, long time, as people do talk about it in the context of men, but these women are doing it. But when they open a book and it doesn't really have like all, the visual images of it, I feel like they get a pass, right? And because they get a pass, it's been becoming more and more pervasive. You can just open it. You can have the book open. A lot of these, like if you look at Rebecca Yarros sort of things, Rebecca Yarros, you can see like kind of the way that their whole these are set up. You wouldn't be able to. This looks like a normal fantasy book. It looks like it's the Hunger Games or something, right? Onyx Storm, but it's really degenerate. The Fourth Wing. It looks like Dragon Riders of Pern or something, right? Iron Flame. You'd never be able to tell even from the titles or the covers of these sorts of things. It's definitely hidden, and it's hidden intentionally because, again, they can just open these books in public and get away with it and read them. Nobody would know the better, and that's the entire situation that's going on here. It's a big, hidden, crazy system that's absolutely wild. And then, of course, you get your Kindle, and you've got it open on your iPhone. Who knows what you're reading, right? And so this is like this... It's really strange just how this got so pervasive in the culture so fast at this point. And, of course, this is what Brian Neimire is talking about all the way around. There's a third party at the table, one Lane touches on only briefly, which I want to drag fully into the light, says Neimire. The third side, she does not promote pornography per se, nor does it excuse it. Identity politics or feminist slogans, their motto is, quote, freedom. They always call it freedom, right? It's a free country. Don't like it, don't read it, right? That side that trots out these lines wrap themselves up not in pink hair and rainbow flags, but in paper shields marked free speech, free market, and freedom of choice. They are not the shameless smut peddlers of the feminist enablers. They are libertines, and they are the most insidious of all because they pretend to be morally neutral. I love this commentary. I'm glad Brian brought this up and put it this way. Brian Neimire is a great author if you've not checked him out. They love to quote John Stuart Mill, Thomas Jefferson, and occasionally the Constitution, but what they really worship is license, the capacity to do whatever one wants without consequence and, more importantly, without judgment. Libertines pose as champions of human dignity and individual agency, but at the end of the day, they are parasites feeding off of the moral capital of a civilization they neither built nor defended. This is why Lane's heroin analogy is spot on. No one seriously argues that shooting up in your living room is a noble expression of autonomy. But when it comes to the media designed to arouse and addict, when the dopamine fix comes from a Kindle screen instead of a needle, we're expected to stand down in the name of freedom. Wow, what a poignant example right there. But the libertine error stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of freedom itself. The true freedom is not the ability to do whatever one pleases. Instead of a blank check, it is the power to do what is right. And that's exactly what's going here, and exactly what they need to, of course, bring back to our culture again. Freedom only has as much value as the good it grants access to, no more, no less. Freedom of speech is good only because truth is good. Freedom of religion is good only because the worship of which is worthy is good. Freedom of enterprise is good only because the fruits of honest labor are good. That once a freedom is used to pursue something intrinsically disordered, like lust, it creates a freedom, not a freedom at all. It creates slavery disguised as liberation. A man can't put down his phone because he's addicted to gooning. It's not free. Neither is the woman who reads herself into a dopamine coma with enemies to lovers erotica dressed up with gold foil covers. A freedom detached from good is not freedom. A jail cell with no lock is still prison. Really poignant commentary from Mr. Neimire here on this video, which is really, really poignant as well. So this is what's going on, and I'm glad more and more people are calling it out because it's being noticed. I mean, even though they've, again, got these covers that try to hide things and they try to disguise it, you can see just how many reviews this has. 264,000 reviews. Now, I can tell you right now that I have about 600 reviews on my for Steam and Country. That's sold around 30,000 copies. You can do the math of how many people leave reviews versus how many are actually sold. There's millions of women being manipulated by this stuff. It's really ugly in the whole fantasy system. And this is what's being pushed out harder and harder and harder by New York establishment. And it really, if it goes back to it, I mean, I think the first one that really went out there was that 50 Shades of Grey stuff. That was just bad fan fiction on the internet that they actually then rewarded for making pornographic fan fiction of Twilight, right? Which was a kind of wholesome PG book, if that's we're going back into things. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother can of worms we could talk about later. All right, what do you guys think about this? Please hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my book for Steaming Country. This is clean fantasy. It's a lot of fun. 6 books. It's a lot. It's just builds very, very nicely over the series. That's what I tend to do. So check it out. It's available on ebook, print, and audio in the description below. Thanks for being here. We'll be back.